Welcome back. Now, two organizations are today expected to release the findings of their investigations into the 2021 civil unrest. The South African Human Rights Commission and the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities conducted hearings in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng following that unrest. Over 350 people died in incidents of looting and violence in the two provinces, and many businesses and shopping centres were damaged. Communities mobilised to protect their homes as well as their businesses. And for more on this and the latest outcomes here, we bring you now our reporter Vusi Khumalo, who is at those hearings. Vusi, good morning. So let's start by talking about how the investigations were actually conducted.
Yes, good morning. You recall that the year in 2021, especially here in KwaZulu-Natal as well as some parts of Gauteng, these areas were engulfed with violence as a result of the civil unrest that swept through in these provinces. Then the president of the country then dispersed the CRL Rights Commission as well as the South African Human Rights Commission to investigate the circumstances that led to the violence that swept through West Sydney in KwaZulu-Natal, resulting in the death of more than 350 people who were, some of them were killed, and also some of them died in stampedes, and also a number of them were victims and also were the survivors. The Human Rights Commission as well as the CRL Rights Commission then did this investigation that today they would be releasing their findings as well as the recommendations. Must also say that these reports will be binding but will not be legally criminal, but they will be binding. Police will then institute their own investigation after this, because there will be a way forward. So these two commissions are here today to release these two reports, the two of the Chapter 9 institutions to release their reports here today in Durban at Umhlanga. As you recall that because there are so many people who died, there were also a number of them who were also the survivors of this violence in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And they must also say that there's been a number of arrests. As you recall that there was a time of the arrest of more than 60 people who were alleged to be instigators, and there's been one of them who has already been convicted and also sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. There's also Dylan and Ned Governor who also tried to kill, or who were charged for, or who were also found guilty of attempted murder as well as assault. They got 7 years for attempted murder and also a further 3 years for assault. There's been also a number of people who are going through various stages of prosecution as a result of their alleged role in the killing of people here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And also about the survivors, speaking of that, I've got one Mr. Reginald Kemi, who is also the survivor of the violence that took place in his hometown here in Durban. He will tell us just briefly, and also about the amount of time he spent in hospital because he was hospitalized after being shot at. Baba, sicela ukwamukela nje kafushane. Sathola igama ukuthi umnumzana original com awusithatha usibeke nje ngodaba lwakho nokuthi namhlanje njengoba namhlanje kuzo release le report yini uyilindele nokuthi mhlawumbe uqala nje walimala kanjani kwenze njani?
Ngelanga ngo 2021 mhla ka 12 kuJuly ngihamba mina ngiyofunela umsebenzi. Ithe mangifuna imisebenzi amatoho kwathiwa no kuyatoyitoya abantu bayatoyitoya ntontoni. Ngabuya ke ukuyofuna umsebenzi. Ithe mangifika vela abantu nabo bayatoyitoya emgwaqweni. Ngabukela ngaphinde ngaziyela endlini ngabuya futhi ngazobabukela futhi ngaphinde ithe malate nje lapha ko-4 ngiya ema-toilet ngafika ngenza lonke ube ngikwenza e-toilet mangiphuma ema-toilet ngithi ngahlangana nenhlavu lapho yathi nje mina ngenhlahla yami okanye ibhadi mangiqala nje ukuphuma ema-toilet ngithi ngiyawoka ngiyababheka labantu qhamuka nje ekoneni ngabe kudubulela ngabe kudutshula ngesikhathi nje beqala sokudubula badubula kimi nabanye-ke babesecaleni kwami abukuyale labona banabo abantu besiwa siyadutshula la ngajika-ke mna sengidubulekela kule ndawo ngajika-ke sengiphindela apho ngihlala khona emkhukhwini
obheka emsebenzini ofuna umsebenzi nokuthi ngesikhathi umuntu wayedubula directly noma kwakuyinhlamvu nje ezihambela engaqondisile okwena
zange ngibone kahle ngoba labantu babekade beme lapha belungu abaninzi nezecurity badubula straight bedubula ebantwini bedubula kithi yabo ngoba mina yathi mangiqhamuka ngithi laba ngesikhathi beqalisa ukushuta bedubula nami ngadubuleka ngelo xesha ngabe sengijika-ke futhi ngibona nabo abanye abantu besiwa la ecaleni kwami ngoba sasibukela thina abanye abantu sasibukela ngoba Nottingham Road emthulini Nottingham Road.
Awusichaze mhlambe njengoba namhlanje kurelease le report yini oyilindele kubona nokuthi bake ba-engage nawe ngaphambilini ngesikhathi besazama ukwenza uphenyo?
Yebo, hayi balenza uphenyo ngoba ngize ngibizwe nje napha bemane ngixhumana nabakwa-commission ngoba bathi masenza ama-report sema-police station siyenza ama-affidavit ngakwenza konke lokho ema-police station ndenze affidavit ngibhala i-report ukuthi kwenzekeni kum ndayibuyisa-ke kwathiwa ndiba-emailela ngaba-emailela kune-council sayi-emaila-ke no-council wangikwazi uku-emaila-ke council langisiza sayi-emailela sayithumela lapha kwa-Human Rights of Commission.
So yini uyilindele mhlambe?
Namhlanje mhlambe ngilindele nje noma yini noma isincephezelo mhlambe ukuthi mhlambe singacephezeleka okanye ukuphenywa ngenye indlela okanye nesincephezelo ngesilindele ukuba mina ngahamba esibhedlela ezo-3.
Kukhona mhlambe ongajabule ngakho?
Ngokwami
ngendlela izinto ezenzeke ngayo mhlambe ngesikhathi i-commission ihambisana nawo?
Hayi akukho wrong. I-commission ngibona ukuthi sahamba kahle kakhulu sahamba ezinyathelweni kuba kukhona nabanye abadubuleka ePhoenix. I-commission yathi mabayogrunjwa le Eastern Cape bayogrunjwa labo bantu laba babedubulekile ngaba babedubule ngabomdaba ababini bathi bayogrunjwa ngale ndiyalalela uhlelo i-commission isenza kahle kakhulu.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Yebo, siyabonga.
Ungeza nje ngalaba siyabonga kakhulu. Yes ungakhululeka baba siyabonga kakhulu. The commission the sitting is about to start as I'm letting Unonhle Ngoban just to let you in about some of the activities that are still happening here outside. There's still some registration that is taking place here as we await this much awaited report into the findings of the civil unrest that took place in KwaZulu-Natal. Just briefly, Reginald Kemi is saying that he is very much satisfied with how the commissions did their investigative work into the findings of the July unrest. He's saying that he doesn't know whether it was a stray bullet or it was a direct attack on him because he was hit by a bullet on his chest, but he survived, and he also was hospitalized for just over a month. So he's saying that the commission is doing its work diligently, saying that it's got no qualms whatsoever with how it has conducted its business so far, but he's also saying that he does somehow expect some compensation because he stayed for about more than a month in hospital getting no money, saying that perhaps it does need some compensation because of this. So we are still waiting for the commission to start today the launch of these two reports by the two of the Chapter 9 institutions. That will be the South African Human Rights Commission as well as the CRL Rights Commission.